Good day to you wherever you're watching OGTV live across the globe. I welcome you to your program, Peace and Conflict Resolution. I am Oba Oluwaseunfunmi Ogunleye. Today we shall be looking into the future of Nigeria with out-of-school children, the implication, the causes, and these many more we shall be looking into on today's program on Peace and Conflict Resolution. I have in the house Barrister Adegbenro Ogunbade, who will do justice to the topic we have brought to you today. Barrister Adegbenro Ogunbade, you're welcome to the program.
Good day, Oba. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. It's good to have you. You're looking so...
Good of you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, we'll go on a very short break now, and when we come back, we'll dig deeper into the matter. Thank you for staying tuned. Welcome back to the show. Welcome. Still on the program, Peace and Conflict Resolution. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. This is credited to Aristotle. And when we say poverty is the parent of revolution and crime, Barrister, considering the topic we're discussing, the future of Nigeria with out-of-school children, how does this work together? And what is the implication on the out-of-school children?
You could not have started this topic better than the words of Aristotle that you just recounted, because it describes the implication of not educating the children that we have now. The future of any country, the future of any society are the young population that they have.
Yes.
And in that regard, it is necessary that those up and coming generations ought to be trained in the ways of the society, ought to be trained in how to run the society when it comes to their own time. And in the lifetime of a country, well, 100 years is still very, very small. But in the lifetime of an individual, it runs like a speed of jet. But what we are looking at is the ratio of children who are out of school in the country is alarming. If we fail at this particular instance now to train those that we always refer to them as future leaders, what are the kind of future that we are building as of this moment? If you have a larger percentage of children out of school, and there is this saying that you train a child in the way it should go. When he grow up, he will not depart from it. And there is also this saying that says it is easier to build a child than to repair an adult. If we catch them young at that level and put them in the way they should go, in the way that we ourselves, the older generations have gone, in the way they have put the society in, where they have gone about running the whole things, definitely it will not be too much for them or too burdensome for them when it gets to their time. But if they are not trained in the ways of the society, if they are not trained in the way of the Lord particularly, then it portends a great danger for the future. Chief Obafemi Awolowo once said something that if you, all these people, all these street urchins that you see, the mind that you fail to train, it is not even the street urchin, the mind that you fail to train will in the future come around to disturb your children that you train. The minds that you do not train will in the future come to disturb your children that you trained. So it goes hand in hand. We live in the same society with everybody, whether you've been to school or whether you've not been to school. And to even aspire to get to the position of leadership, there are some criteria that is always looked at. What have you, where are you coming from? What are the visions you have for a better life? You understand? But if somebody in that aspect has not even been trained in the way of making the society better, how do you expect them to come through when they come to a position of leadership? What we see around now is eyesight to what I'm trying to say. That is why some people will say whenever there's an upcoming election, people should go for a debate. They want to see the kind of stuff that you are made of. Yes. They want to see how you understand the problem that is in the society. They want to know the tools and the way you will operate when you get to the position of leadership, how to solve the problems. And that's what essentially life is all about. That's what essentially getting into government offices is all about. But if we have our generation now, the younger generation now, not being trained in that aspect, it portends a very, very grave danger for the country.
It is so sad with the report that we had from the UNICEF. The man, Peter Hawkins, said something, yes, that those affected by education crisis in Nigeria, he mentioned girls, he mentioned children with disabilities, he mentioned children from poorest households.
Yes.
And in the street situation, by displacement crisis, where we are presently, as we have fraud from the Borno. So those children that are affected, they are also an implication to what we are discussing today.
Yes.
And what the causes, what could be the cause of all this?
Well, it's not far-fetched. From our own society around here, poor planning, poor policy implementation, and lack of incentives could be what could have caused what we have now. You understand that even when Awolowo introduced free education,
yes,
way back then, not many people had the chance
to
go. Possibly because of information, maybe the orientation or the mobilization of people for that program couldn't reach their side.
Okay.
But at least it helped a large amount of people. Those who did not have the wherewithal, did not have the resources to put their children in the missionary schools or the private ones. Because the government schools, as at then, cannot take everybody.
Okay. Vice Admiral, we'll go on a very short break now.
Thank you.
And then we'll be back to the matter. Peace and conflict resolution continues in a moment. Stay tuned, please. Welcome back to the show. Yes, Barrister, you said something that even when Chief Obafemi, late Chief Obafemi Awolowo was given free education then, and some were able to go and some couldn't go for that beautiful opportunity. And considering now, even now, we still have some parents, despite all that the government is putting in place, we still have some parents who will give products to their children to hawk around instead of going back to school.
Well, we cannot de-emphasize the damage that the current economic situation has caused. Because one way or the other, the family must feed itself. But it's part of the lack of policy coordination.
Coordination.
Yes. If we desire children of a certain age to be in school at a particular period of their life, we should as well try as much as possible to see to the full working of that policy. Well, most of the times, most policies of government do not get particular attention at every point in time, maybe because of changes in government or changes in the officials that overlook the policies. But it does not stop there. Even the aspect of poor planning. You know, even outside the country, people plan for like 20, 30 years ahead.
Vision
They will
2040,
kind
like
of
that.
project the number of children that will be in school at a particular year. And then as at that particular point in time, it will not be necessary for them to even say, you have to build new school, you have to build new hospital, you have to build new road, because they have planned ahead. So by the time these huge populations are coming out, they have a ready place to school. They have a ready establishment to take up of their education. And then education, as we are looking at it, is not only the one where we learn in school.
Yeah, it's beyond.
Yes. So if it is lacking, probably those who impact it as well must also be encouraged. What is the situation of teachers nowadays? Do they have the zeal to continue their work? Do they have that eagerness to follow up with what they have been paid to do? You know, at a point in time, you know, many of them go, I mean, there have been times that NUT would declare strike. But happily now, it's been a long time that such happened. There has been there has been some stability in that sector. But all these things goes hand in hand. There was a time that government introduced this free meal with them. That's one of the incentives to the child. You understand?
Yes.
So if one of them has experienced this, he can as well mention it to his peers. This is what is going on in school. It is fun. It is lovely. You can come around, they give you food. Such kind of program should be, looked at to see that it is all encompassing and it reaches everywhere. So that even these children that we intend to train will have that zeal, that eagerness to be present in school at every point in time. Because it goes beyond trying to take care of the future of a country. If you train their mind now, because education lets a person knows how to discern, how to take action at a particular point in time. There's a saying that says, education makes somebody very easy to govern and is difficult to enslave. There is something that is of a calamitous nature as at this present moment. It's the poverty of the mind. Even you see some people that are educated, the way they reason, the way they think, the way they even take hook, line, and sinker, whatever comes out on the internet, you will understand that, are we failing in that aspect of educating our minds? Are we progressing in that aspect? The question is for everybody to answer. And do not forget as well, a child comes up from a particular household. That is where the family comes in. Education should not be left alone to the educational institution. Learning starts from the home. As a parent, how do you interact with your children? How do you bring them up? Is it in the way of the law or in the way of the world? Because what we have nowadays, a lot of children get taught some of the vices that they engage in through the internet. And there's no prohibition to that. Once they get a phone and the data to go to any site, definitely they go. But, you know, if the parents are there at the appropriate point in time, this is the necessary thing you should do. These are the things you shouldn't look at. These are the things you should focus upon. Then we will train our mind. We will train our brain to adapt to a situation where we will always pursue the good of the society. We will always be at peace with every of our neighbors. And even education is also learned through what we see. Imagine university student killing a girlfriend.
So sad.
It even came out that like 3 others have gone that way. What for? To what end? To what purpose? So if this flamboyant lifestyle, the idea of getting rich without any any source of income, without any hard work, or without any meaningful way of working, it doesn't speak well for our younger generation, and especially the children. It sometimes saddens me when I get to hear a report of the fact that even primary school students are engaging in cults. The teachers are helpless in this regard. What is the government doing to forestall such occurrence? There should be policy, there should be planning, and there should be implementation. It will go a long way in stabilizing that sector, in giving us the children that we will be proud of. You understand? Many of these people that turned out to become work in government offices, private businessmen, professionals, they weren't forced by fire by force that you must go to school. They saw some people that have gone that way. They liked it, and they had that desire to continue that line as well. What are children modeling now? Is it not that musician that has dreads, or somebody that walks about in the street naked, or somebody that paints the whole face with red and all sorts of color? Those are the aspects, again, that the parents should look at it to teach your child before even the person gets to school. Have interaction with them. Do not leave it to the school alone. Do not leave it to the teachers alone. And it is shocking again, the way some children, that is why this idea of saying that the age of those that could sit for WAEC came to the fore recently. Although somebody mentioned that it has been a policy for the government for many years, but it was not being taken up. That kind of, so, but if you have genius among these children, you cannot limit them just because of the fact that somebody is misbehaving.
In order not to kill their morale.
You get it. But what we are trying to say is that for you not to have such children getting to the tertiary institutions, train them at home. Do not leave it to the teachers alone. And then we'll definitely have that education that we can all celebrate, that we can all be proud of. Like it happened when our illiterate parents, who are mostly farmers, cocoa farmers, cola nut farmers, producing doctors, producing lawyers, producing businessmen, producing entrepreneurs. Those of us that are now doctors, lawyer professionals, what are we producing now?
It's really a question for all to answer. And let me take you back to 2021, when we have some states that their schools were shut down. That's in 2020. No fewer than 618 schools were closed. Like we have in Sokoto, Zamfara, Kano, Katsina, Niger and Yobe.
True.
Those states, they have to close down the schools due to the fear of attack. That was in 2021. In 2022, the UNICEF, they carried out some research, and they came up with this fact. Well, it was published, and they said 10.5 million children were not in school, which is the highest in the world.
Wow.
So all these things, that is 2022. This is 2024. The same UNICEF is going from one state to another to make sure that this issue of out-of-school children, what can we do? If we actually claim that the children, the youth are the future of any nation that wants to grow, what are we doing?
Well, it shows definitely that whatever we are doing presently is not enough. One of such things is the fact that check the budget of any state. What is the amount that is being voted for education which should be the utmost priority in those areas, even in other areas that have better figures. We are not doing enough. Even the national budget, there has been this consistent UNICEF call to the fact that as a developing nation, you should try as much as possible to make sure that your budget on education is much more, like even up to like 40% of the annual budget. But what we have, the amount we are even spending for defense is much more than what we spend on education. So if we continue in that line, we will still not get the adequate results. And like I said, what we are doing presently is not enough. We need to buckle our shoes, tighten our belt, and redouble our efforts in this regard. We have schools, yes, definitely, but are they enough? Are they well equipped? And don't forget, it's not only, education is not obtained merely by formal means. You can get it by informal means as well. There was a time that there was this policy to build school for these Fulani cattle rearers, their kids.
Okay.
At that time, maybe through motorcycle or bike, those teachers would go into the bush to teach these young ones. I don't know if that is being sustained. Maybe as a result of the insecurity and the behavior of those people themselves. Look at those states that you mentioned. Small children, little children are the ones used by bandits now. So if they are not in school and they are seeing a lifestyle of glamour from the ruling class, how do they get to, make them feel as well that at least we are human beings, we can do this thing. If they cannot get it by way of education, they have other means. And that is what is coming to the fore in those areas. It is necessary and essential that those things are checked. Because if you have education, adequate ones, it will tell you that if you do something wrong, you will be punished.
Yes.
If you do something right, you will be rewarded. How do you get them trained? If the opportunities are not there, so how do you get them trained? It means essentially, like I've said, what we are doing is not enough. We should continue to redouble our effort and ensure that more funds equip the school, make the teachers smile, and everybody will be better for it.
Okay, let's look at the consequences. If the consequences of not having access to education, having poor health, shorter life expectation, poverty, unemployment, low salary, and etc. If these are the consequences, what is the solution? I know there are other consequences, but the solution, what is the solution to get out of? Because we cannot remain in this mess and expect the future of this nation to be better.
Yes. I think there's still this program, Universal Basic Education.
Yes.
That concept means that at least, even if a child does not show that much interest, at least he or she should be able to be in school for 9 years.
Okay.
6 years in primary school,
Yes.
3 years in secondary school.
Minimum.
At least if you have that,
Yes.
you can attune your mind to relevant ongoings.
Okay.
If I suggest that program to be sustained,
Okay.
and there should be much awareness. Well, anyway, there's no way. The better way out of it is to make education cheaper.
Okay. Thank
Is
you.
to make education cheaper. If what we have presently now, even those that are paying higher fees, they are loving it because
They are
of
getting
what
they-
it will give them in
return.
terms of what the children turn out to be. Anybody can pay for that more, but not the majority of the population in Nigeria can do that. So for those downtrodden, for those in the lower rung of the society, education should be declared as free as much as possible for them.
Okay. Thank you for the justice done on the program and the topic. I must greatly thank you.
It's my pleasure.
On this note, we shall be calling it a day on peace and conflict resolution. Till I see you next week, next time, same station. I am Oba Oluwaseunfunmi Ogunleye. Train a child today.